is, how did you stay in this house with this person for 3 days after she was arrested, even with the police there?
Because it was so much worse before the police were there.
There was so much.
Like, some things that...
Well, you were never there, though, so what was worse? Or you were there?
Well, I mean, I was there. I was really there most nights. So, until the end. I mean, even then I went back, so... It was the night I went back. Took all the cops again. But it was just like, she would do things like, well, she never mentioned the murder at the beginning. That I remember, you know, particularly. Or saying anything about it. And I never asked her anything about it. But, things, what would I notice about her? The first night I came in late, she, like, I had to knock on the door because she had the chain on the door. So, she woke up and said, "Who's that?" And I said, "Oh, it's just me." She goes, "Oh, I'm a little paranoid." And so I figured, well, that would be pretty normal, you know. But she had this umbrella in her hand. I guess she was going to stab the intruder with the umbrella. But anyway, that seemed normal. But then another time, like, I'd leave all the lights on because I was really paranoid, you know. I didn't know who it was. I thought it could have been a robber, it could have been, who the fuck knows, you know. So I always used to, like, I used to sleep with, you remember that pen, that pencil you gave me? That automatic pencil?
Yeah.
I used to sleep with that gripped in my hand. And the lights on in my bedroom.
And the lights on in your bedroom, and your bedroom door locked.
But I was always a little bit paranoid of her too, because Pat and John always put it up to me that, oh, it's probably timing. You know, they'd always
Why did they do that?
I don't really fucking know. I know that Pat had never liked Timmy because of the remarks made about her looking like an Oklahoman.
And that was in the first week of school?
That was in the first orientation week, yeah.
So she
and John just said he just didn't like her. He just didn't like her.
And John just didn't like her?
He just didn't like her.
Thought she was a bit flighty.
He thought she was strange. And besides, he liked to just fucking make jokes about shit. So, so I was always paranoid. And so when I'd go out, I'd leave lights on in the house too, you know?
Yeah.
Because they say they're, you know, like there, people usually always have somebody in the house because in case a robber comes. Because if a robber knows there's somebody there, he won't come in. Yeah, he only comes in, and I found all this out later, he would only come in if someone was there, if he didn't know someone was there. You know?
Yeah, that's normal.
And the main thing that when they'll kill you is when you've seen them. If you don't see them, if you pretend like you're sleeping and you're in another room and you, like, you know, cough or something so they know that you're there, they'll just leave.
And there's lots of robbers.
But they'll kill you if they see you. If you see them. What?
There's lots of robbers.
No, we lived in a very high-class neighborhood, man.
So there were no robbers?
I never heard of anybody getting robbed. But anyway.
So you're actually talking about paranoia then?
Oh, yeah. But anyway, I leave the lights on, and one night she said to me, "Boy, you know, you leave a lot of lights on." And I just said, "Well, you know, I'm kind of paranoid." She goes, "What are you paranoid about?" I thought that was a strange, I mean, why the fuck shouldn't I be just as paranoid as she is, right?
Yeah, knowing even less about it.
Right. So, I just said something like, "Oh, well, you know, from living in Boston, I'm paranoid." She goes, "Oh, that means when you get used to living here, you won't leave all the lights on anymore." And I just said, I don't know about that. But that was strange. And then just sort of, what else did she do that was really strange? Well, the knives. And you couldn't help but notice that those knives were sharp. I really don't know if those were the murder weapons or not, but...
Did you ever talk to her about the knives?
Actually, I found out from the officer much later. that those knives, they took them and tested them, but it was too long after the fact. So that, at least in the labs in Korea, they couldn't.
She was chopping with carrots.
I think they sharpened them myself. That was my other. After we'd moved in, I found in the cupboard a brand new knife sharpener. It looked like it had never been used, but they had to have had a knife sharpener to sharpen those knives. So they fucking scraped all the blood off or whatever they thought probably, and just kept sharpening them, figuring that would remove the traces. Yeah. And then threw away the block, you know, the old one, and bought themselves a new one that they never used.
So you actually think
she was really into knives, you know? I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really discover that until later either.
Had the finest of cutlery.
Yeah. So anyhow, I had noticed the sharp knives. What else?
But she never talked about the murder.
No, she never talked about it until that night. Remember when I said when I was writing that letter? And then let me see now. She'd come home. She'd come home with a couple of other nights.
And she never stayed out late at night?
She did a couple of times, and both times, well, no, one time she stayed out late and she wanted me to go home with her, so I went home with her. Another night she came out. She hardly ever came out. The other night that she came out, she wanted me to go home with her. It was pretty early, so I went home with her then. And we wandered around the back way. And I'm like, oh, do you want to talk about it? And she's like, yeah. So that's when she told me all this about, you know, discovering the body and, you know. And she was talking about the soles of the feet and the throat.
This is after going out and going in early?
I forget which night, because there's 2 different nights. I think that was the night we went home early. And the night we went home late. The night we went home late, I think,